Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Leilani. You could also call me Lay. Today, my goal is to try to read all of the Goodreads top 10 romance books of 2021. So, out of the 10 books, I've already read 5 of the books this year. So those will be The People We Meet on Vacation, which I believe I gave a 4-star, and I did a whole reading vlog on it in one of my travel vlogs. I think it was my trip to Portland, so you can watch that one, but I really enjoyed it. The other 2 physical books that I have on me right now are The Love Hypothesis and The Spanish Love Deception, which I love these books so much. I gave this one a 4.5 star and this one a 4-star. Both of them, for trope wise, would be fake dating and grumpy sunshine romance, which is my favorite trope. So this one, we follow around Adam and Olive. Olive doesn't really believe in like true love or whatever, but her best friend does, and she's trying to convince her friend to go out with an ex that's not really an ex. It's kind of like a complicated situation because she knows her best friend likes the boy, and she's like, I don't really care, I didn't really like him, you could date him, but her best friend's not convinced. So to convince her friend, she's been lying and saying she has a boyfriend, and she ended up kissing Mr. Adam. It's just read it, love it. This one is also fake dating, where we follow Aaron, everyone starts with the A, and then Lena. They work in the same place and they have like this little rivalry, and he is volunteering to be her fake date at her sister's wedding because she has been single for a while and her parents in town feel bad for her. So in order to make her family believe she's doing well and is happy, she decided to lie and said she had a boyfriend, and she doesn't. But Mr. Aaron decides, hey, I could be your fake boyfriend, and you go on from there, and it's lovely. The other 2 books that I've read would be Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which is the 3rd and last installment of the Brown Sisters trilogy, which I gave a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. It's super cute. And then the other book is It Happened One Summer, which I believe is my favorite romance book of this year, and it might be like one of the favorite books I've read this year. It's also Grumpy Sunshine. I enjoyed the physical reading better because I was going to DNF it at first when I listened to the audiobook, so I'm happy I got the book physically and I read it. So just to let you know. So the other 2 books that I haven't read but I'm going to read during the challenge, I got from my library, would be 7 Days in June and One Last Stop. And then the last 3 that I'll be reading on my iPad will be Neon Gods, The Ex-Hex, and The Soulmate Equation. I'm going to put up a display that has all of the books so you could see them. So the first 5 are actually how I'm ranking my stuff. So my number 1 spot, it would be It Happened One Summer. Number 2 spot would be The Love Hypothesis. Number 3 spot would be The Spanish Love Deception. Number 4 spot would be People We Meet on Vacation. And then number 5 would be Act Your Age, Eve Brown. And then the ones under it aren't in any order, so I just put those there so you could see all the books in total. So my goal right now, I think I'm gonna start reading The Soulmate Equation, and then after that I'll pick one of the physical reads up and then go back to an ebook. So my goal is to have all these read by December 5th, because I think that's the last day to vote for your number 1. Right now it's December 2nd and it's almost 6 p.m. So I have 5 books to read. So we'll see what happens. But I'll give you an update later. Okay, bye. Okay, so I finished what is it called? Something, The Soulmate Equation. The ending got more interesting, but it was the side characters that made the story more interesting. I still don't see any romantic chemistry between the main characters. What I enjoyed more from the story was family dynamics. So Jess with her daughter and her family and her best friend, and River with his sisters. Also, I find the mom story more interesting than anything. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give this book, I'll give it a 2.5. I look worse for wear. I'm gonna give it a 2.5. Yeah, I need to go to sleep. But I'm gonna read a physical book tomorrow, and I'll start off with 7 Days in June. So yeah, talk to you tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day, and I only got a few chapters into 7 Days in June because my friends ended up coming over Friday night. So I hung out with my friends, and then Saturday I ended up going out again, and we seen like pretty Christmas trees and lights and everything. But for Saturday I ended up listening to the audiobook and finishing Neon Gods, which is a Hades Persephone retelling. And overall, I think my rating would be like a 3.5. I've read Katie Roberts before, the Wicked Villain series. I think I have 2 more left in that series to complete, but I think most of the books I read from her are usually 3.5 stars because I like the concept of the book. Like, I love gods or like Disney characters per se. But somewhere around like the middle section, it always gets kind of uninteresting to me, and then it'll pick up again. But her steamy scenes, they are steamy. But in general, I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. But in general, Neon Gods was a 3.5. I really liked the relationship between Hades and Persephone. Zeus is a jackass as always. But yeah, I can't wait for the next books in general because I think 2 more are coming out next year. And there's a novella called Hades. It's Hades and Hades because it connects Wicked Villains and I think the series is called Dark Olympus together, but I can't find it, so I don't know what to say about that. But 7 Days in June, the opening paragraph in general is out there. It's kind of funny. But we follow around, who are we following around? Let me not give you the wrong name. Eva, who is an erotic romance writer about werewolves. And she's a single mom, I believe. And she has a chronic illness, I think, that nobody knows about. So I'm waiting. The romance hasn't started yet because I didn't really get into it yet. But I'm excited because it actually sounds good. And the writing, I like the writing so far. So today is also December 5th, which means I have, I think it said like 12 more hours until the final round closes. So I think what I'm gonna do, because I still have one last stop in the X-Hex, but the X-Hex my best friend read, she gave it a 3 stars, I believe, and me and her have similar reading tastes, especially in like romance area. So it's most likely gonna be a 3-star, even though I'm still gonna read it for this vlog. And then this one also had mixed reviews, but I'm not sure if it's going to be like my top book. So I think after this, after reading this one, and if I still have time left, I'll start reading One Last Stop. But I think I'm going to vote for which book I think is like the best romance book. Because I'm also, I think at the end of this video, because I was watching Books and Lala's rating top horrors of 2021 from Goodreads. I think how I'm going to rank my system at the end of this is if it's enjoyable enough for me to reread the book. Because it's one thing where like I could give a book a 3 stars, but I know if it's a series and it's a 3 stars, I'm most likely going to continue the series. But if I completed a series, I might not like rewatch it. So I think what I'm going to do at the end is, instead of ranking them by like the stars I gave, it's, am I actually going to reread this book? So that's how I would also rank or like vote for my pick. So yeah, I'll talk to you when I'm probably like halfway done. Around like lunchtime, I'll talk to you because I'm gonna get lunch. Okay, bye. So I finished 7 Days in June. You could probably hear me crinkle this book right now. I don't even know how to get into this book. We follow Shane and Eve. You can't even see who I'm pointing at. And there's, first of all, the writing. Let's just break it down, my thoughts, because I just finished it. It's told in multiple perspectives and it time jumps because you see when Shane and Eva first meet. And it's a few flashback scenes. And then you get Shane's perspective and you get Eva's perspective. And then randomly, you get sprinkles of other characters' perspectives, which throws off the whole book and shouldn't be there. Since we're starting on the writing, there is a lot of references to real world situations and or people. And a lot of references. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it a lot. Because some of the references didn't make sense. And some things that were said kind of sounded like shade towards other authors and or whoever else they were talking about in here. Some other things that they talked upon are like political stuff and social awareness and stuff. One of the things that they talked about in the beginning of the book where they were at a panel was the experience of Black authors' experience to writing or publishing, which I think I have a tab here actually because yeah, it says, we're expected to write about trauma, oppression, or slavery because those are easily markable Black tropes. Publishers struggle to see us having the same banal, funny, whimsical experiences that humans have. And I was like, yes, state that because this is true. Because I want to see more books of color that don't reflect people of color that don't reflect the trauma that they're in, right? Because everyone deserves to be happy, to have a happy ending. But this book touches on trauma, but like multiple, like everyone's trauma. It's trauma. So we follow Shane, who is a recovering alcoholic. Eva, who I don't want to get into her past story just in case you want to read it, so I'm not going to do spoilers. But their stories, the flashback stories are trauma filled, and trigger warnings for suicide attempts, cutting, drug use, alcoholism. I'm trying to think what else have happened. There's a lot of trigger warnings in here, but I don't think there is any character growth. Every character sounded the same, so the tone was always the same. Especially, like, even the 12-year-old daughter sounded like an adult, so she didn't sound like a kid. It was just... it didn't feel like a romance, because, like, it didn't feel like a romance. There was so much happening in the book. And I even skimmed some of the stuff, especially the epilogue. I feel like the epilogue was pointless. Like, I've never been so done with the book. But yeah, I don't... And there's so many people that like this book, and I thought it was going to be higher on my list. And this is actually I think what I'm settling at is a 1 star. Because it's not a romance. I would say it would be like a contemporary fiction with a hint of possible romance. But this is so trigger focused, and you're sitting in trauma for so long. And the character, like, there's no development, and there's no, like, I didn't feel like it was like instant connection, instant love. And it's like, no, because it's not healthy. And I understand relationships don't have to be healthy, but like at the end, like, it was trying to like wrap up and tie it with a bow. That's a no. So this is a 1 star. And I'm sorry, but no. I think I'm gonna read... it's later now. I think I'm gonna read a few more of I'm gonna start One Last Stop and then go to sleep because it's later. My friend ended up coming over. We watched Beauty and the Beast and then also read, but I didn't think this would be so low on my ratings. I honestly thought it was, because how it was presented, I thought it was gonna be like a 4 star. Good to know. But yeah, I'm gonna read One Last Stop next. I'll give you an update later. Okay, so it's been like a day or two since I last updated the vlog. I've only made it a few chapters in One Last Stop. I put it down because it was getting, like, I couldn't get into the book for some reason. And I've read Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I really loved. Like, I think I gave like a 4 or 5 star. But it's taken me longer to get into the book, so I set it down because I also have finals this week. But I did end up finishing The Ex-Hex, which is a cute little witchy rom-com. And we follow around Reese and Vivi, or Vivi, whichever one she goes by. And they have like this summer fling and they're head over heels for each other. And one day Reese wakes up and he's like, I have to tell you something. I have to go back to my hometown, to Wales, because my father betrothed me to another woman. And this leaves Vivi heartbroken. And she basically gets drunk one night. And her friends put a curse on Reese on accident because they didn't believe they did it. So 9 years later, Reese has to come back to this hometown because he has to set like ley lines or something, like, I think that's what it's called, like recharging the town with his powers. But when he comes back, all of this bad stuff starts happening to him, and he's like, what is happening? I've never had bad luck before. And him and Vivi rekindle or re-see each other, and she's like, damn, I think I actually put a curse on this man. Oops. So they team up with her family, trying to figure out how to get, like, remove the curse, because of the curse, he actually triggered something within the town, which is also making the town cursed. So they team up together, and it's just so cute. Like, their banter is so cute. Even like the side characters I really like and enjoy. I think the reason why I gave it a 3-star though is because of the ending. Because I feel like the ending should have been laid out longer and not tied up so fast. Because I was lacking this like certain emotion. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I was lacking this certain emotion that should have been happening, but because it happened so fast and it cleaned up so fast, it didn't provide what I needed. But all in all, I think it is a good book, and it's still a 3-star, and I feel like I probably would reread this. If it was, I think it would be a cute movie. It kind of reminds me of Bewitched, that other witchy rom-com. I think Will Ferrell's in it. But yeah, I really liked it. So my goal now is to finish One Last Stop. But what I'm gonna do is, if I cannot get halfway through the book, like once I'm at this section right here, if I'm not enjoying it, I'm going to have to DNF it, because after reading 7 Days in June, I was like, I can't sit through something that might cause me to go into a reading slump, because I'm now just getting out of one. So the goal is to either read all of it or read half of it and decide if I'm DNFing or not. Because maybe it's just right now I don't feel like reading it, because I've read so many rom-coms or romance books, but I'm struggling, and I don't want to struggle because I actually liked the previous book from this author. So that's what I'm gonna do, but I'll give you an update later. Okay, so it's been a few days. I'm currently in my office right now because I'm gonna return the library books, but I have to soft DNF this book. I've tried reading it physically and as an ebook. It hasn't worked out. I've only got to like 100 or pages or so. I was going to pick up the audiobook, but for the audiobook for my library, it says wait for several months, and I would be placed 130 something on the list. So that's next year. So at the moment for this vlog, I'm soft DNFing One Last Stop, only because I couldn't get into the writing style, and I didn't really connect with any characters or care at all. Is that rude to say? Maybe, but I was not feeling it at the moment, and my goal is to listen to the audiobook, because maybe the audiobook will get me through it, or like I'd like enjoy the audiobook better. But that concludes this whole video, and I'm going to show a new display of all the books again, but it's going to be ratings on if I'm going to reread the book. So the first 5 are similar. The only thing is number 5 spot is now Neon Gods, and Eve Brown is after that, simply because the Brown Sisters trilogy, I have completed it. I don't feel the need to reread it, and that's why it's under Neon Gods, even though I gave Neon Gods like a 3.5 star. But Neon Gods is still continuing. There's 2 more books that are going to come out soon, and usually when it's a series, I reread the previous book, so I'll probably reread Neon Gods again. The last 3 people might be confused on. So One Last Stop, even though I DNF'd it, I do plan on reading it again in the future. So that's why it's number 3. The last 2 are Soulmate Equation and 7 Days in June. And the reason why I don't plan on rereading these is because it's not something I've enjoyed. I feel like even though I gave 7 Days in June a 1 star, it's for like the romance portion, because I don't think it should be labeled as romance, because I didn't find anything like romantic about it. Like, I wasn't getting the warm feelings that I needed when you read a romance. I was just getting irritated with some of the characters. So that's why it's a 1 star, and I don't plan on rereading it. Let me know what you chose as your favorite book for Goodreads romance, and if you feel similar to my reading taste, I guess. Also, if you have any more Grumpy Sunshine romances, just throw them at me. Just throw them at me in the comments below. But I'll see you later in the next vlog. Bye.